like and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. We might think that most people nowadays are ignorant, selfish, inconsiderate, and rude to each other, tearing apart the little humanity left. However, we have a contrary opinion to that. Check out these random acts of kindness that will restore your faith in humanity. Number 1. Rescue of a scared homeless dog. A dog was wandering near railway tracks, unaware that his life was in danger and that a train could pass through at any minute and turn him into mincemeat in seconds. Well, he was a lucky fella because some buddies came through and led it away from danger by luring it with food. The rescuers further extended their generosity by taking the dog to a vet for a checkup and treatment. Number 2. Runner helps an exhausted competitor over the finish line. This athlete may not have won a race, but rather won the hearts of many at the London Marathon. He chose to abandon his ambitions of finishing among the first by choosing not to abandon a fellow sportsman whose dreams had crumbled before him. The crowd cheered as the man helped the other to the finish line. Number 3. Homeless man gives stranger his last dollar. Be kind. You never know when you might run into an angel.
Whatever you need it for, take it.
Was this man's message to the world after a guy who was to buy his bicycle for $500 gave him the money.
The fact that you were gonna help me, man, I got $500.
For real, man.
And let him keep the bicycle too. This is too beautiful to watch. Number 4. Homeless man gets a beautiful surprise from a stranger. Street people aren't as bad as perceived by society. They're people like us who dearly need our help. This should encourage you not to be mean, but to lend a helping hand when you can. A guy decided to randomly gift a stranger in the streets. The man couldn't be grateful enough, as seen in the video. Number 5. Stranger drives puppy 2,300 miles to cheer up boy with cancer. A family was in low spirits after their 8-year-old boy was diagnosed with brain cancer. The news spread far and wide and landed on this particular truck driver, who was a stranger but was so touched by the news that he took it to himself to do something that would cheer up the little boy and his family. The driver transported the family's puppy over 2,300 miles to surprise the boy. This simple act of generosity put a smile on the boy's face as intended. Number 6. Countless bikers gave a special surprise to a young boy. Fulfilling the wish of a child with limited time to live, a swarm of bikers paraded and passed by a young boy's house as a way of surprising the boy, who had been diagnosed with cancer. The boy's wish had always been to see at most 20 bikers ride past their house. But instead, a whole swarm of approximately 20,000 bikers pulled up in style to surprise the boy. Number 7. 3 German students surprise homeless guy. Look at how adorable and head-turning this is. A surprise performance by 3 very talented young fellas at one man's lowest moment living on the streets. I would have burst into tears. Look, they even raised money for the dude by collecting contributions from other pedestrians and onlookers who were astonished and moved by what these 3 buddies did. Number 8. Freeway cat rescue. These guys found a cat tangled in a meshy net looking weak and on the brink of demise, and they unhesitantly saved the poor thing's life. I can imagine it took a great deal of time and effort, but at least it wouldn't be in vain because the cat gained its strength in time. Number 9. School surprises bus driver with a new car and raise. In an act of repaying kindness with kindness, this school decided to surprise the school bus driver with a new car and an additional salary increase for being a good kind of man. He'd been in charge of handling the kids during transit over the years and has also been passionate about his duties. It was well-deserved. Number 10. Rescue homeless puppy. Humans who give genuine love, kindness, and mercy to these lovely and innocent furry creatures are few and rare, but deserve acknowledgement. Thanks to these rescuers for coming through for an abandoned puppy in a railway yard after receiving a call from a train driver. They even gave it a name, Daisy. Cute, I know, right? Number 11. Helping elderly woman into a car. Despite our differences as human beings, sometimes it's good to just put them aside if it serves a greater good. Just like these 2 men did by helping an elderly woman get into a car. The woman was struggling despite the help. She desperately needed assistance, and luckily, these 2 men were there to provide it. Can you imagine the pride of the mothers of these 2 young men after seeing this clip? Number 12. Happiest fan ever. Take a look at this wholesome moment when this little fan got a souvenir from Weiss, his favorite Montreal hockey player. Weiss threw the little guy a hockey puck mid-game, which he fetched with a big smile on his face. You can see him snuggle the puck for a while. Ah, so cute. Number 13. The most generous boy in the world. Honestly, I have to admit that I cried watching this video. This little guy couldn't afford his favorite ice cream, so the waiter offered it to him anyway. The kid showed his gratitude by leaving a 50-cent tip and a thank you note on the table. How sweet. Number 14. Cars waiting for an elderly man to cross. Crossing the road is very scary, especially for an old, feeble person. It might seem like a journey just to make it to the other side. In addition, the fear that cars might run you over is another thing. Luckily for this old man who was crossing a very busy street in China, cars at the zebra crossing didn't move despite the lights going green. A traffic cop on duty even carried him on his back to the other side. Number 15. Waiter feeds disabled customer. I'm sorry I didn't warn you of the emotional roller coaster I was going to take you through today. Honestly, I didn't even know it would be this insane. But since you made it this far, let us continue. Look at how heartwarming it is when this restaurant owner employee feeds a disabled man who couldn't do it by himself. The world sure needs more of these types of superheroes. Number 16. Homeless family and child get a life-changing surprise. This homeless man makes drawings and art, hoping that people will buy them, so she can afford food and diapers for her little one. This man asked her to make a piece of art for him for $5, but instead, he paid her $500. This was so emotional that the woman broke into tears, and she couldn't believe what had just happened. Number 17. Cheering up poor children with dream toys. This one made my day. These kids are going to be forever grateful to this woman for making their childhood memorable by giving them toy dolls to play with. Number 18. Helping blind cat. This one could qualify as a miracle, perhaps. A miserable and blind cat is rescued at a point where I'm sure it thought it wouldn't survive. The rescuers treated it, and despite losing its eyes completely, it was able to maintain great health. I still can't believe how lucky that cat was. Talk about 9 lives. Number 19. Man shows unexpected act of kindness. A woman and her kids went to a store to sell her ring because she was broke. But that didn't exactly happen as planned. The store owner instead gave her the cash and the ring back. The emotional mom couldn't hold her feelings of gratitude to the store owner. She cried. Number 20. Helping stranger who lost consciousness. It's amazing how we as humans can put our lives on the line for others who are complete strangers. This man noticed a burning car with someone stuck inside. As other people ran away from the scene, he decided to help the unconscious man to safety. The sheriff's department is even going to honor the man for his acts of bravery and compassion combined. Number 21. Georgia office saves choking baby. This brave man in blue offered service in a completely different and peculiar way by saving an infant's life right when her mother had lost hope after trying everything. It seems like quite an emotional and hair-raising experience. Luckily, the officer was successful, and the baby got to live thanks to his help. Number 22. Stranger carries woman to the marathon finish line. I know completing a marathon is a big deal, and I would never be able to do it myself, but this woman couldn't have done it without a stranger. Just a few steps to the finish line, and exhaustion kicked in hard, limiting the chances of her making it in time. Thanks to a 17-year-old athlete who sacrificed her only chance to make it first by helping their completely helpless competitor. Number 23. Teen runs to help an elderly neighbor. In this video, recorded by a proud mom, a boy sees his elderly neighbor walk home in the rain without an umbrella. Filled with compassion, the young man rushed outside with an umbrella and helped out the old woman to his house. This kind of act put a smile on everyone's faces, especially his mom's, who was watching from a distance. Oh, I almost forgot about you too. Of course, you also smiled. Number 24. Kind passers stop to help an elderly man. An old woman pedestrian was out in the streets, probably on her health walk or out for some fresh air, when she tripped and fell on the road, injuring herself. Some other pedestrian pushing by a baby cart arrived in time to help her, but couldn't do it by himself. That's when another guy packed his car and together they helped the old lady get up and called her a cab to the hospital. Number 25. Saving cop from drowning. A police officer thought he was doing an interview about his role in the Columbus Police Department when he was bowled over by a man whose life he saved 19 years ago. Chris Jones, now 24 years old, burst into tears after seeing the man who saved him from drowning in a hotel pool when he was just 5 years old. Until next time, adios.